Edwards. I'm a yoga teacher in Gainesville. I've been teaching for a little over 4 years. And I also own a yoga studio called My Yoga Connection that's located off of 13th Street. So the class that we'll do this evening is really focusing on how our yoga practice can impact our lives in a healthy way. So for our physical health, for our mental health, for that mind-body connection. So we'll start the class with some breathing exercises, helping us to ground, calm, clear the mind, starting to get circulation moving through the body, and wanting to take that breath moving with us as we move throughout the rest of our class. Because as we're breathing, our muscles are breathing too. So we'll get a lot more out of our practice if we can breathe into the stretches as we come into them. So from some breathing exercises, we'll warm up the whole body. So we'll start with the neck and the shoulders. We'll move on to the spine, hips, hamstrings. We'll take it nice and slow. And then we'll start kind of building up more of our major muscle groups, start building some heat, start building the heart rate up, so good for our cardiovascular health. And then we'll ground back down towards the end of the class with just some hip openers. Sitting a lot throughout the day, which I'm guessing a lot of us have, most of us do. And then we'll finish in what's called Shavasana, or relaxation pose. So we use Shavasana just to lie down at the end of the class to kind of absorb all of the stuff that we did in our class today. So kind of like recharging the batteries of sorts. So I may come around and just check your alignment and maybe gently assist into a pose. If that is not okay with you, you can just let me know. I won't be offended, I promise. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I always tell everybody to be mindful of your bodies as we're moving. So not doing anything that's painful or that hurts. If we come into anything that doesn't feel good or doesn't make sense for you, we can try to find a way to modify so that it does. And more importantly, this is your practice. So if you'd like to take an extra breath somewhere, please do. And if you'd like to throw in another variation that you already know is better for you, go for it, even if it's not something that I ask you to do. And your neck and shoulders a lot.
Low back.
Hips, low back. All right, well, we'll go ahead and start in a comfortable seated position. So that can be either cross-legged, you can even sit with the feet out in front. You can even sit on the heels if you like, just finding what's going to be most comfortable for you while we come into our breath. So just making sure that our hips are grounded down nice and even. And we can start to sit up a little bit taller. We'll take a moment to just roll the shoulders up and back a few times. And we can let the shoulders relax back down. And starting to listen to your own breath. So just taking some deep breaths in and out through the nose. You can keep the hands facing down on the knees to help ground. Or you can let the palms face up to invite in energy. Feeling free to let the eyes close if you feel comfortable, or you can just gently relax the eyelids. Trying to allow the jaw to relax. Again, taking deep breaths in and out through the nose, really listening to your breath, noticing how it feels. And we'll come into different breathing exercises or pranayamas. So we'll start with what's called the Ujjayi breath, or the victorious breath. So it's a really full inhale and exhale, bringing the tongue up to the soft palate of the mouth, trying to slightly constrict the airways. So it's also sometimes called like Darth Vader breath or the ocean breath, because that's the noise that you're trying to make with your breath. So it's very audible. Maybe you can even hear your neighbors. And this breath really helps to strengthen our lungs, helps to strengthen the bronchial lining, helps to strengthen our immune systems, and at the same time, it's very calming for the nervous system. So continuing the Ujjayi breath. As we take our next inhale, bringing our focus to the tip of the nose, center of the throat, and center of the chest. And maybe even adding in a 2-second pause, holding the breath just for 2 seconds at the top of the inhale and at the base of the exhale. After this breath, we'll just do one more really full inhale and exhale. Transition into a breathing exercise called the matching breath, which helps to balance the right and left hemispheres of the brain. So we're trying to match the length of our inhale to the length of our exhale. Perhaps starting with a count of 4 to inhale, 4 to exhale. If that's easy, you can take it up to 6 or 8. And you can either silently count in the mind, or you can always even gently tap an index finger, helping you to keep count. Balancing the right and left hemispheres of the brain, which is very good for calming any anxiety, great for relieving stress. After this breath, we'll just do one more matching breath. We can return to relaxed breathing, just trying to remember our breath, taking it with us as we move throughout the rest of our class. And if you like, you could join me in setting an intention. Perhaps something that we'd like to receive from this class, like an emotion, maybe a feeling in the body. Perhaps setting a goal for yourself. Or maybe even inviting in a positive affirmation. Like, I am healthy, I am strong, I feel good. Or any words that may have meaning to you. And we'll take these intentions in with a nice deep breath in. We'll start warming the rest of the body up. So if you're sitting cross-legged, feel free to switch the leg that you have in front so that we can get even on both sides. Making sure that the hips are still even, and you might find that this side feels a little bit different than the other, and that's okay. Sitting up nice and tall, we'll take a deep breath, reaching up tall through the crown of the head as we exhale, letting one ear slowly come down to one shoulder. Trying to let both shoulders relax to the floor. You can feel free to reach the opposite fingertips out to the side, gently resting on the floor. And perhaps adding in a micro movement with the head, drawing the chin in towards the chest and back out. Sending deep breaths into the side of the neck, into the shoulder. Staying present with our breath. We'll take one more round of breath on this side. And with our next inhale, reaching the head back up to center, reaching up tall. Exhaling slowly to the other side. Shoulders relaxing down. Feeling free to reach the opposite fingers out to the side. Perhaps gently nodding the head. And deep breaths into the side of the neck, into the shoulder. Trying to remove any tension or tightness that may have gotten built up there throughout the day. Taking one more full breath on this side. And then we can inhale, raising the head back up to center. With our next breath, shrugging the shoulders up towards the ears and exhale, relaxing back and down. We'll do two more like that on your own breath. Inhale up, exhale back and down one more time. And keeping the shoulders relaxing down towards the floor. With our next inhale, raising the chin up, just as high as feels comfortable for you. And exhaling to draw the chin down towards the chest, letting the shoulders just melt to the floor. Feeling free to gently shake the head no. Maybe even slightly round the upper back a little bit. And we'll repeat a few more times, trying to move with your breath. So as we inhale, we'll raise the chin up. As we exhale, releasing the chin down. And noting that all of these neck and shoulder warm-ups are moving around the throat center, or the throat chakra, one of our energy centers in the body that controls our communications with others, with ourselves, speaking our truth, finding our voice, and also surrounding the thyroid gland, which is one of the main glands in the body that controls a healthy metabolism. So moving just once more in each direction. And we'll keep the chin released down towards the chest, shoulders relaxed. And with our next inhale, slowly rolling one ear over to one shoulder. Exhaling to bring the chin back down towards the chest. Inhaling to move to the other side. And repeating again on your own breath. Exhale to lower down. Inhale, reaching over. Feeling free to stop and pause anywhere along the way if we find any more tight spots in the neck or the shoulders. Trying to send a deep breath to those tight spots with a message of release and letting go. Keeping the shoulders as relaxed as possible. Taking our time, moving with the breath. We'll move just once more to each side. Slowly raise the head back up to center. And we'll take a nice awakening breath. So with our next inhale, we'll sweep the hands high up overhead, really reaching up through the shoulders, and we'll exhale, rolling the wrists and the fingers down, trying to bring circulation all the way down the arms, into the hands, into the fingers. So we'll inhale to sweep the hands back up overhead. This time as we exhale, the left hand will come to the right knee or thigh, and the right hand will come behind us. So twisting towards the right in a gentle seated twist, letting the chest reach up, letting the shoulders relax, looking towards that right shoulder, opening up the spine. And twists are also very good for digestion. So that can mean our bodily digestion as well as life digestion, things that we are going through in life. One more inhale here. And exhale, coming back to center. We'll inhale, reaching the hands back up overhead. Exhaling the right hand to the left knee or thigh. Left hand comes behind us, twisting towards the left shoulder. Sitting up tall, chest lifted, shoulders relaxed. Taking some deep breaths up and down the spine. One more breath here. And inhale, coming back to center. Very good. So we'll make our way into a tabletop pose on the hands and the knees. So we should have the hands spread wide, pressing even into the mat with the wrists directly under the shoulders. And then you can take a look back at your knees and making sure that the knees are about hip distance apart, directly under the hips. So warming up the spine a bit, we'll inhale as we come into cow pose. So we'll let the belly relax down, arching the spine, lifting through the chin and the chest, trying to draw the shoulders back so we're smiling across the collarbones. Taking a deep breath in here. And as we exhale, tucking the chin, rounding the spine up for cat pose, tucking the tailbone under, really trying to reach up to that point between the shoulder blades. Very good, and we'll repeat between those two poses, again moving with your breath. So as we inhale, we'll come into cow pose, arching the spine, lifting the chin and the chest. As we exhale, rounding the spine up, tucking the chin, tucking the tailbone. Again, moving at your own pace, trying to let your breath initiate your movement. Feeling as though it is our breath that's taking us in and out of each pose. Very nice. Once more through each pose. Coming back to neutral table, take a moment to warm up the shoulders a little bit more. So warming up the entire shoulder girdle with this stretch. We'll take a deep breath in. As we exhale, we'll shift one hand back as we shift the hips back. Then we'll inhale, reaching that hand high up towards the ceiling, lifting out of the hips, And reaching that hand back out to the front to switch sides. So try to exhale, reaching back. Inhale, reaching up and out. Really trying to see our full range of motion here. Again, warming up the entire shoulder girdle. See how much you can get your body to move, doing what feels good. And cultivating mindfulness of your own body. Notice if one side is tighter than the other. Maybe one side has more range of motion than the other. Moving just once more to each side. Coming back to our neutral tabletop. We'll start warming the hips up a little bit more. So we'll move the hips in circles. As we inhale, we'll draw the hips forward slightly, then to one side. We'll reach back, maybe even moving through child's pose if you're familiar. If not, we'll come there soon. Reaching to the other side and back around to the front. So always trying to move with your breath. Try to inhale as you come forward. Exhale as you come back. And there's really no right or wrong way to do this, as long as it feels good. So you can make your circles as wide or as small as you'd like. Just listening to your body, doing what feels good. We're warming up the hips. It's great for lower back pain. Great if you've been sitting throughout the day. We'll just do one more circle in this direction, and then we'll just switch directions. And coming back to the mindfulness of your body, notice if anything feels different as you move this way around. Staying present with our breath, also called prana in yoga, which translates into like our life force, our energy, our breath. Just taking one more circle. And then we'll come back to our neutral tabletop. So perhaps double checking your alignment. And we'll start to practice our balance a little bit, warming up more of our major muscle groups and also balancing the brain. So with our next inhale, we'll reach the right hand out towards the front as if you were going to shake somebody's hand in front of you. From here, putting more weight into the right knee, we'll just reach back through the left foot. You can keep the toes on the floor if that helps you be more stable. If you like, you can lift the foot up. Really trying to press back through the heel as if you were pressing your foot into the wall behind you. So we're warming up all of our major muscle groups here. The arms, the core, the quads, the glutes, calf muscle. One more inhale, deep breath in. Exhale, lower back down. Recalibrating your table. And then starting to put more weight into that left knee, into the right hand. We'll inhale to lift the left hand out to the front. And then reaching the right heel back. Feel free to keep the toes on the floor if you need to. And find a drishti point, or a non-moving still point, somewhere to focus your eyes on to help with balance. So that could be on the floor, the wall, maybe the ceiling. Taking one more deep breath in. Exhale to lower back down. Good. So again, recalibrate the table, and we'll add on a little bit. So we'll start to move with our breath. As we inhale, we'll lift up the opposite hand, opposite leg. Feel free to keep the toes down if you need to. Deep breath in. Exhaling as we lower back to tabletop. Inhale to reach the other side up. Exhaling to lower back down. And we'll do this just a couple more times on your own breath. Inhaling to lift. Exhaling to release. So this exercise helps to balance, again, the right and left hemispheres of the brain, and then the right and left sides of the body. Very nice. Just once more to each side. And then we'll find child's pose. So we'll let the knees widen a bit, letting the big toes come together, and then let the hips lower down towards the heels, the hands reaching out with the chest just melting down towards the floor. You can let the forehead relax down. So this is our resting pose, also called child's pose or balasana. If at any point throughout this class you feel like you need a little bit of a break, this is a great pose to come into. It's one of the few poses in our yoga practice that relaxes all 7 energy centers or chakras at one time. So it's a very calming yoga posture. We'll hold here for 2 more full rounds of breath. Trying to let the breath slow down. And we'll inhale, coming back up into tabletop. We'll tuck the toes under, and we'll move into our first downward facing dog. So with your next inhale, lift the hips up high and back, pressing into the hands, trying to ground the heels down. Very good. Let the chest just reach back kind of through the ankles, letting the head relax. Feel free to shift the hips from side to side. Maybe pedal one heel up at a time. We'll hold here for a couple more breaths. So we're opening up the backs of the legs, the hamstrings. We're opening up the chest and the shoulders. And we're engaging our muscles here. So it's an active pose. We'll just take one more full round of breath. And with the next inhale, we'll start walking the feet forward towards the hands, coming into forward fold or Uttanasana. So letting the head and hands just hang down. Letting the head relax, feeling nice and even in the feet. We're not too far forward on the toes or too far back on the heels. You can feel free to bend the knees if the hands don't quite reach. And that can also give you a deeper stretch in the lower back if you bend the knees. So with our next inhale, we'll float halfway up to half forward fold with the hands at the shins, moving forward through the chest, and the shoulders are reaching back. So it's natural to want to lift the chin up. We'll try to keep the chin slightly tucked so the neck is in line with the rest of the spine. We'll take a deep breath in, and we'll exhale to lengthen back down. So we'll do 3 more like that, trying to open up the backs of the legs, the hamstrings. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower back down. So 2 more on your own breath. Again, inhale, reaching up. Exhale, lengthening down. Very good. One more time. So pressing into the feet, we'll take a slight bend in the knees, and we'll inhale, rolling all the way up, trying to let the head come up last. And we can roll the shoulders back. We'll take a little bit of a wider stance on the mat, and we'll let the arms swing from side to side. We can let one heel come up at a time to keep the knees happy. And coming back to standing. How you guys feeling? A little bit more loosened up? Good. So we'll start building more heat in the body with what's called a sun salutation. So sun salutations are done at the beginning of most yoga classes because it's a very well-rounded warm-up, and it's also builds heat. So building the heart rate, great for cardiovascular strength, and it's also a salute to the sun that rises for us every single day. So just a little bit of an offering there. So we'll move towards the front of the mat, and we'll find mountain pose or Tadasana. So imagining a mountain really strong as if kind of nobody can move you here. The feet are nice and firm. We'll engage the muscles of the legs, so really trying to hug the muscles in towards the bone. We'll let the tailbone tuck under slightly so the spine is really long. We can engage the core. Roll the shoulders back so the shoulders are relaxed, kind of reaching up through the crown. And we even have some life, some energy in the hands, so the arms are really active as well. So even though we're just standing here, it's a very active posture, grounding for the body, grounding for the mind. Taking one full round of breath. And sending that energy down through the feet. We'll inhale to lift the hands up overhead. As we exhale, the hands come to prayer position at the chest. Let the shoulders relax down. With our next inhale, we'll lift the prayer back up overhead, lifting through the chest. Feel free to look up. Maybe even reach back if that feels good. We'll take one more deep breath into the chest. And then as we exhale, we'll dive forward. Try to lead with the heart down towards the floor, coming back to our forward fold, or Uttanasana. So the hands come down towards the floor, towards the feet. It's okay to bend the knees if you need to. Try to let the head relax so we're not holding up the back of the neck. Taking one more breath. And with our next inhale, we'll float halfway up, hands to the shins, moving forward through the chest, shoulders back. Exhale, lengthening back down. Bending the knees, bringing the hands to either side of the feet, and we'll inhale, reaching the right foot back for runner's lunge. So checking our alignment here, we want that left knee directly over the left ankle. The right heel is reaching back. The hips are lowering towards the floor. Trying to move forward through the chest. And trying to only put about 10% of the weight in your hands, letting the legs do most of the work here. And we can shift the right heel forward and back a little bit, playing around with our runner. And then we will lower the right knee down to the mat, finding a nice low lunge. So low lunges are great because they open up the hip flexors that get really short as we sit throughout the day. So those front muscles at the hips, the psoas muscle, and the rest of those hip flexors. If you'd like to increase the stretch, feel free to come up onto the knee. Just doing what feels right for your body. You can always even reach the hands up overhead to increase even more. Shoulders relaxing down. Sending some deep breaths into both hips here. And we'll lower the hands back down around that front left foot. We'll tuck the right toes under. Lifting the left knee back up. And with our next inhale, we'll reach the left foot back into plank, or almost like a push-up. Feel free to hold it here, or you can always release the knees down if you need to. We'll try to hold for a breath or two, really engaging the core, arms, wrists, shoulders, quads, glutes, trying to keep the hips even with the rest of the body. So this nice strong line of energy from the crown of the head to the heels. One more deep breath in, and then we'll exhale, releasing the knees to the mat, letting the knees widen, and coming back to child's pose. So really try to reconnect with your breath here if it may have gotten a little short. Taking some longer inhales, longer exhales. Perhaps taking a moment to remember any intentions that we set. Taking 2 more full rounds of breath. And with our next inhale, lifting up through tabletop pose. And then we'll exhale to lower all the way down onto the belly. Trying to keep the hands directly under the shoulders. And you can let the chin, one cheek, or the forehead rest on the mat. And we'll move into baby cobra. So really trying to keep the elbows hugging in towards the body. With our next inhale, just lifting the chin and the chest off of the mat. Trying to let the muscles of the spine do most of the work here. So you can test that by lifting the hands off of the mat. And then we'll exhale to lower all the way back down. And we'll do 3 more on your own breath. So as we inhale, lifting up, shoulders relaxed, elbows hugging in. Exhaling to lower back down. Strengthening our back core muscles here. Opening up the spine. Opening the chest. 1 more on your own breath. And you can feel free to stay with a baby cobra. Or if you like, you can press the hands into the mat even more to lift up higher through the chin and the chest. So take an inhale. Again, feel free to stay with that baby cobra. Or we can come up into a higher cobra. So we want the shoulders relaxed, the elbows are slightly bent and hugging in towards the body. Very good. So taking a deep breath into the lower back, into the chest here. And we'll exhale, lowering all the way back down. So tucking the toes under, inhaling to move through tabletop, and up into downward facing dog. So tucking the toes under, lifting the hips up high and back, trying to ground the heels down towards the floor. Letting the chest reach down so we have that nice extension across the chest and the shoulders. Taking 1 more breath here. And with our next inhale, we'll draw that right foot forward through the hands into runner. So maybe it gets a little stuck along the way. We need to give it a little help. That's okay. Taking your time to get there. So checking our alignment. Right ankle is underneath the right knee. Left heel is reaching back. The legs are really active here. Moving forward through the chest. Only about 10% of the weight in our hands. Very good. 1 more breath. And lowering the left knee down to the mat. Unfolding the foot. And we're opening up those hip flexors, this time on the left side. Feel free to stay with the hands lowered down. Or you can always walk the hands up to the knee, or even up overhead if that's what you like. Just be mindful of your body. Do what feels best for you. You can always lower the hands back down. We'll try to hold for a couple more breaths. Taking one more deep breath in and lowering the hands all the way back down. Very good. Tucking those left toes under, coming back into our runner. And with our next inhale, we'll step the left foot forward to meet the right, coming back into forward fold or Uttanasana, head and hands hanging down. Again, feel free to bend the knees for a nice stretch in the lower back, or if the hands don't quite come all the way down. And with our next inhale, moving halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana, hands to the shins, forward through the chest, shoulders drawing back, taking a deep breath in, and exhaling to lengthen all the way back down. Taking a slight bend in the knees, we'll inhale, reverse swan diving up. So the arms come out to the sides, all the way up overhead, taking a deep breath in, lifting through the chest. And we'll exhale, drawing the hands together at heart center. Letting the shoulders relax down. We'll hold here to reconnect with our breath. So find your strong mountain pose. Feel free to even let the eyes close. Letting the breath slow down. Perhaps you can feel the prayer rise and release on the chest as we're inhaling and exhaling. Maybe you can even feel your own pulse, your own heartbeat. Once we can learn how to connect the mind and the body even more, the more we can do for ourselves, the better we can take care of our health. Taking one more full round of breath. And letting the hands relax back down. And we'll come into a standing warrior flow. So our warrior poses are very strengthening for the legs, but we're also kind of cultivating some inner warrior strength in these poses. So it's a great kind of uplifting spirit for the mind, making us feel strong in our bodies, strong with ourselves, and stable, feeling grounded. So we'll just take a big step back with the left foot, letting the hips open to the left. So the right toes should be facing forward towards me. The left toes are turned out to the side. And we want to have heel to arch alignment. So the right heel draws a straight line to the arch of the left foot. Very good. So from here, we'll take a nice deep bend in the front right knee, trying to let the knee come over the ankle. If it wants to come further, just widen your stance a bit. Very good. From here, we'll let the arms come out from the shoulders, making sure that the hands are on the same plane, looking over the right fingertips, and try to imagine that you can energetically draw the heels together to engage the inner thighs. Very good. So with our next inhale, we'll lift the hands up and we'll straighten the right leg. So we'll come out of the pose a little bit, lifting up. As we exhale, coming back into warrior two. Maybe even a little bit deeper. So we'll do two more like this. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, lower down. One more. Holding here. We'll flip the palms open. We'll inhale to reach the right hand up, and we'll let the left hand lower down towards that left foot, somewhere on the leg, lifting the chest up for reverse warrior. Keeping a nice bend through that front right knee. We'll just take one more breath here. We'll inhale back into warrior two. And then we'll straighten the right leg. We'll heel toe the left foot in just an inch or two, preparing for triangle pose, which will really stretch the inner thighs and open the side body. So we'll inhale, letting the fingers reach towards me just as far as you can, letting the left hip reach to the side, and then lowering the right hand down, somewhere on that right leg perhaps, reaching the left hand up. If the hand can come further down, you can let the fingers come towards the outside edge of the ankle. Trying to keep the shoulder blades in line. Reach up, very good. Feel free to keep the head turned down if there's any strain in the neck, or you can look up towards the ceiling or towards your hand if you like. So again, we're stretching the inner thighs and stretching the side body on the left side. So we'll take just one more breath here. And then we can turn the head down, bend through the right knee, inhale to come up. Very good, releasing the hands. We'll do the other side. So we'll step the left foot forward and take a big step back with the right, opening the hips up to the right. Checking your heel to arch alignment. Very good. And then bending through the left knee, letting the knee come over the ankle. And if it looks like it wants to come further, just widen your stance a little bit. Letting the arms reach out from the shoulders. The shoulders are relaxed. Chest slightly lifted. Inhale, sweeping the hands up, lifting through the left knee. So coming out of the pose, reaching up. Exhale to lower back down, maybe a little bit deeper. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale, lower down. One more time, inhale up. And exhale to lower, holding here. Flipping the palms open. The left hand reaches up, the right hand lowers down for reverse warrior. The chest reaching up towards the sky. Trying to keep the back leg straight and the front knee bending forward. Very good. Inhale to come back up into warrior two. Straightening the left leg. So coming out of our warrior, we'll heel toe the right foot in just an inch or two. And then we'll reach the left fingers all the way towards the front, letting the right hand reach out, and then lowering the left hand down, perhaps somewhere down the left leg, maybe to the outside of the ankle, letting the right hand reach up. Very nice. So getting a deep stretch for both the inner thighs, for the hamstrings, and for the side body at the rib cage. We'll hold for a couple more breaths. Really trying to keep the legs active here. And then turning the head down, bending through the left knee. Inhaling to come back into warrior two. And then releasing the hands, we'll step the right foot forward to meet the left. Great job, you guys. Are we warm?
Yes.
Great. So we'll come into a nice hip opener. So it's called Pigeon pose, which is kind of like the mother of all hip openers in our yoga practice. So a little note on the hips is that we tend to hold a lot of tension in our hips. So that can be just tension with the muscles, but also tension with the mind. Situations that we kind of call this hip area the junk drawer of the body. So situations that we don't know how to deal with in life, that we don't want to deal with, subconsciously get sent into this area of the body. So fortunately, we can do yoga practices or movement to try to move that energy around, kind of getting that stagnant energy out here. So we'll really try to come into some conscious breathing once we make it into Pigeon. So we'll transition to come down. So we'll inhale to sweep the hands up overhead. As we exhale, diving forward, try to lead with the heart down. Very good, and then just stepping the feet back into downward facing dog, one by one. Very good. With our next inhale, the right foot reaches up just a little bit. We'll exhale to bring the knee in towards the chest, shifting forward and towards the outside edge of the mat. So as if you were making the number 7 with your leg. Very good, then lowering the left knee down, letting the hips lower all the way. Squaring the hips towards the front, so the right hip shifts back, the left hip shifts forward. Very good. And we'll come onto the fingertips. We'll inhale to lift up through the chest. As we exhale, we'll pour forward, maybe onto forearms. If you'd like to take it even further, you can let the elbows widen, maybe letting the head come down to the hands. Being mindful of the knee. If we have any pain in the knee at all, just backing off. And if you'd like to increase the stretch while we're holding here, you can walk your right ankle closer towards the front of the mat. So again, coming into that conscious breathing we just talked about. As we're inhaling, we can imagine inviting in some fresh, clean, healing breath into the right hip. And as we exhale, imagine just releasing out any tension or any tightness that might be there. Just letting it go with the breath. So we're inhaling openness, exhaling out tension. We'll hold here for about 5 more full rounds of breath. And with your next breath, letting the hands come back to the mat. Inhaling to lift up. We'll tuck the left toes under, reaching the right foot back into downward facing dog. Feel free to shift the hips or pedal the heels, inviting circulation back into the right leg. And we'll do the same thing on the left, so we can inhale to lift the left foot up just a bit, exhaling to bring the knee forward and towards the outside edge of the mat. The right knee lowers down, hips lower down, trying to make sure that the hips are squaring towards the front, so the right hip shifts forward, left hip slightly back. And we'll come onto the fingertips, inhaling to lift up through the chest. As we exhale, pouring forward, maybe onto forearms, maybe letting the head come down to the hands, doing what feels right for you. And coming back into that conscious breathing. Different variation that might work better for you. I think you just did this side, so you can even just sit like this. With the left knee bent, the right foot comes to the sole of that left hip. Pulls the root. So you can let the hands come forward. And you're getting the same stretch, just a little more gentle. But if it feels okay, you can lean forward as far as you'd like. So still inviting in that deep breath into the hip as we inhale. And exhale, releasing anything out that's no longer doing you service. Thoughts, emotions, pains in the body. Holding for just a few more breaths. with our next inhale, bringing the hands to the mat, inhaling to lift up, tucking the right toes under and inhaling back to downward facing dog. Really good, and peeking forward, stepping or floating the feet forward towards the hands. We'll exhale as we fold forward. Taking a slight bend in the knees, we'll inhale to reverse swan dive up. Hands come out all the way up overhead, reaching up. Exhaling the hands together at heart center, shoulders relaxing down. And we can let the hands relax. And we'll practice our balance a little bit before we close our class. So we'll practice tree pose, cultivating some balance with the body as well as the brain. And it also brings about a nice calming, peaceful state of mind. So we'll start with balancing our foundation, lifting the toes, lifting the heels, getting firm on the feet. And we can start putting more weight into the right leg, into the right foot. We'll turn the left knee out to the side. So you can bring the left foot to the right ankle, feeling free to keep the toes on the mat as that will help you be more stable here. Or you can shift the foot further up the leg, being just below the knee or just above the knee, avoiding directly on the knee. So find that drishti point, somewhere non-moving to focus your eyes on, helping with balance. Maybe on the floor, the wall, the ceiling. And if you're feeling really stable, you can draw the hands together in prayer position, heart center. Take a deep, calming breath here. Don't hold the breath. And if you like, we can lift up into a blooming tree with the hands apart, shoulders relaxing down. This posture is actually really good for knee pain. Also great for strengthening the muscles in the legs. We'll try to take one more deep breath in, and then we'll exhale as we lower the hands back down and lower the foot back down to the floor. Very nice. We've got some nice strong trees in here, guys. So maybe shake the legs out a little bit, recalibrate your feet, our foundation. And we'll start putting more weight into the left foot, left leg, turning the right knee out to the side, bringing the foot to the ankle, feeling free to keep the toes down or to shift further up. Just doing what feels right for you. Find your drishti point. Once you're feeling stable, drawing the hands together in prayer position. Take a nice calming inhale and exhale. And then feeling free to reach up into a nice blooming tree, hands apart, shoulders relaxed. Taking some deep breaths. One more deep breath in, and exhale to lower the hands down, letting the right foot lower all the way back down, shaking the legs out a little bit. We'll inhale to sweep the hands up. Exhale, diving forward. Bending the knees, coming to sit down on the mat. Good, we'll keep the knees bent with the feet out in front. And we'll lower all the way down, maybe first onto forearms. And then all the way down, letting the shoulders relax. And then you can one by one extend the legs out towards the outside edges of the mat. Feel free to do any additional movements you feel might be comfortable before we come into our shavasana, our relaxation pose. So really trying to tuck the shoulder blades under, allowing the shoulders to relax. Try to clear the face of expression here, letting the eyes and the jaw relax. And coming back into our breath like we did at the beginning of the class. So breathing deep in and out through the nose. listening to your breath, letting it slow down, taking longer inhales, longer exhales. Really giving ourselves permission to relax, permission to let go, and permission to just be here now, breathing on the mat. Feeling the chest rising and releasing with our breath. Feeling the belly rising and releasing with our breath. And noticing the areas of the body that are making contact with the earth and relaxing into them. Relaxing a little bit more with each deep breath. Trying to allow the mind to focus just on your breath. Allowing any thoughts that may flood the mind to just float right on by. Always coming back to the sweet sounds of the inhale, followed by the smooth, deep exhale. And we're recharging here, absorbing all of that great energy we built. We'll take one more really full inhale and exhale, making it count. And starting to invite some gentle movement back into the body, wiggling fingers, maybe toes, maybe letting the head move to one side or the other. And then we can move over to one side when you feel ready, tucking the knees in towards the body, letting the head rest by the hands, holding here for a few more full rounds of breath. Taking a moment to remember any intentions, goals, affirmations we may have set at the beginning, knowing that we worked towards them here, consciously or not. We can take them with us. Taking one more really full breath. And then letting one hand come down, helping to push up to seated, trying to let the head be the very last part up. And we'll find a comfortable seat to close our class. So we'll inhale to sweep the hands up overhead. Exhaling the hands together in prayer position at the chest. And I invite you to take a bow to yourselves, giving ourselves thanks and gratitude for coming to the mat this evening, doing something healthy for the mind and the body. Being thankful for our yoga practice here together, and namaste. And for those unfamiliar, namaste is a gentle greeting that you'll see at the beginning and end of classes that is directly translated into salutations to you, but can also have a more spiritual meaning as well, that the light in me greets the light in me. So namaste. Namaste. Thank you guys for joining me. This was really fun. How are you guys feeling? Does anybody have any questions about anything that we did? Any comments? Things we really liked? Things we didn't like? It's all welcome, I promise. You guys did a great job.
When do we do it again?
Maybe next month.
All right.
We got a great turnout.
Yeah.
I felt really great about this. So thank you guys all for coming out tonight, and hopefully we can do this again.